Hey everybody, welcome back to ogresspeedshop. So we're gonna get into repairing some more stuff on the 1970 GMC, and this is what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna make an attempt at straightening this bumper as best we can. So you got to pull this out, pull that in, push a bunch of it out everywhere, but you know, we're gonna utilize our 20-ton press here and see if we can get it do. See if we can make it happen. That's the words I'm looking for, sort of. But anyways, let's get into it. So I really have no idea how well it's going to work, but what I'm going to try to do is find some items that are shaped similar to where we need to press in, and see if we can get to a little better shape of what it is. But the first thing we got to do to make it easier is get these brackets off here. I'm already soaking them down right now, so they're a 3/4 inch bolt. So let's get those off of there real quick. As per usual, the very last bolt was the one that gave me problems getting these out of here. And definitely a lot of areas that are smashed in pretty badly here. So I'm going to start with the middle right here. Just try to flatten out the license plate area. You gotta see. So this area right here, at the lower part of it, needs to be pushed out. So I'm going to start off with that one and see what happens. So basically you're going to try a bunch of different little like pieces of metal that might help shape it back. I'm just playing around. I really don't care how good it comes out right now. But yeah, that's what I'm doing, is just playing around with it, just try to get it a little more straight, I guess. It's kind of working. Get that a little more flat. I went a little too far when I did the first one with the round piece, but yeah, I'm gonna try this area over here where it's really dinged in there with a piece of round. Dude, you're loud. And of course, we got the shop dug down here making all kinds of noise. I don't know if I've ever said this before, but don't try this at home. It's kind of dangerous. See how it's starting to kick out like that? Gotta be careful with stuff like that. But it did straighten it a little bit. This is more like making some kind of a die or something that fits the contour of it would be nice, but also not super necessary, but you know. Well, definitely brought it out a little bit. Problem is this area right here needs to come down now, but I think I can do that with the press. So you can try this on the vise. All right, so I got this lightly tightened down in the vise, I'm just going to try picking up on it, try to bend it back, even though it's going to lift the table up. It gave me a little bit of leverage there. I'm seeing is this area right here is a little raised up, and it shouldn't be. So this area right here needs to go down. That area needs to go in. That area needs to come out. So yeah, there's a lot of bends in this thing. We could definitely go more with this piece. So we'll just clamp it down in there, but it's not straight. It's not a flat piece. It's a curve to it. Get a little more leverage on it. Well, the problem is the table's heavy, but it ain't quite that heavy. It's getting better. So this is basically the process I'm going to go through doing this. I'm not going to make you sit through the whole thing, but a lot of places like that piece is going to be pulled out. That's going to go in. Same over there. Same up here. So just a lot of hammering, dollling, pounding, stretching, and bending just to get it a little bit better. So I know it's still really rough. You can see all the scrapes and cuts and everything on it anyways. But it's a lot straighter than it was. A few areas I still need to go back in and kind of push that way. But they're kind of equal now, at least on each side. So yeah, it's better than it was. It's not so, you know, tweaked up now. Could probably do some work on that area. But again, this area is the same way. That's just from being pushed in. But I could get the torches out and heat it up and try to form it that way too. But looks like this area right here kind of needs to come out still some. But so does that area. I don't know. It kind of matches on each end. And it's, if you look at it this way, it's flat going that way. You know, it's level going, you know, it's touching the whole way across almost until right about here. But yeah, I think it'll be good enough and not as bad as it was, but I got to test fit it on the truck. So that's where we're at with it. Well, test fitting it on the truck didn't turn out too bad, and it actually bolted up. You can see how this edge out here needs to kind of go in a little bit, and this kind of come out a little bit. So this needs to go back and in. This side ain't too bad. I wouldn't mind it being a little closer on the edge, you know, closer to the fender. You can do a chip foose thing and tuck it in a little bit better, but this ain't gonna be this is not gonna be a perfect truck when I'm done. This section right here still needs to come out a little bit. Needs to come out. This needs to go in a little bit. But overall, I mean, it's a lot better than it was. And it is rough. It's not a new bumper. This thing was bent up badly, and it's getting better. So I ain't too worried about it. Just that one area right there is all that's left, and a little loving right there, but I'll cover that up with a license plate or something. But anyways, I still got the braces to put in too, these braces that go from here to here on both sides. But other than that, it's a lot better fit and not quite as smashed up as it was before. So I can live with that for now. So we got the bumper completely on now. All the brackets are on, so it bolts up fine. It's a little out of whack on the end. It's supposed to be more like that. We'll see how close it is. So this is still bent in a little bit here and out a little bit here, but I'm not too worried about that. If it comes down to it, I'll run into a brick wall and push that side in. I don't know. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do, since I've gotta wait a while for an engine on this thing, I think I'm gonna blow the whole front end apart. Take everything off of it so I can pressure wash all the suspension, get all this grime out of here. Clean everything up so I know what I'm working with when it comes to doing suspension upgrades or brakes or anything like that. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just take everything apart and make it so it's really easy to clean up the front end of this. All right, so I got the wiring all pulled back. See, it's all stored up here now. It's off the core support now. So start taking brackets off. This fender will come off real easy because it's only held on by 1, 2, and 3 bolts down here. So, because we were repairing that one before, so a lot more to do on that side to get that one off, but we'll see how many of those break because this one didn't like to come off, but I've got those soaking, so hopefully that'll make it easier. Got to pull the bumper back off. So basically, yeah, the whole front end's gonna be coming off. Just because I think it'll be a lot easier to do it. You know, well, obviously it'll be easier to clean all the suspension up here and all this framework up here by having it torn apart. So, and like I said, ain't got an engine for it right now anyway, so you might as well make it, do something to make it look a little bit better, huh? All right, let's start getting this front end torn apart. Well, just like that, the whole front end is off now. It's a lot easier to get in and see all the, just how dirty everything is. It just needs to be pressure washed. It's really not, well, I can't tell how bad it is until I get the dirt off of it, but there's grease fittings on everything. The upper ball joints have probably been replaced because they're bolt in. Can't remember if these came from the factory with them riveted in. They might have. So those ball joints might have been replaced at one point. But everything's got grease fittings on it. You know, back in the day when you could actually maintain a vehicle, not just throwaway vehicles. But so yeah, we got that all off of there. Now you got easy access to everything. Pretty cool. So I'll tell you one thing's for sure. Tearing that apart is a heck of a lot easier than tearing this apart. This thing's got like 1 million parts and that's got like 10 in comparison. So I was pretty happy about that. This thing came apart just like as easy as possible. I probably could have left the fenders attached to the core support too, but what's the real point in that? But yeah, that's a lot of dirt in there. It got to come out now. So I'm gonna get it outside at one point here and pressure wash it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull the transmission out too, just to get it out of there. And the exhaust, get that all the way out of there. Like I said, it's gonna be a bit before I can get a motor or an engine for this thing. So I might as well make everything look good underneath the hood. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna clean it all up and make it look pretty. So I made a decision last night. And since, you know, it's pretty close to the holidays, and it's gonna take about a minimum of $600 or probably close to $1,000 to rebuild that engine with new cam, new crank, and new bearings, and cleaning it and all that good stuff. I've decided I'm gonna tear the whole thing apart. So I'm pulling the body off and the bed off so I can clean the entire frame and get it painted or maybe even like bed liner type of thing, like some good quality stuff. So we're gonna do it right. And so that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna pull the cab off and the bed off and get it ready to be pressure washed, the entire frame. So this is gonna be a fun, interesting way of doing it because I don't have any way of lifting it off other than a jack, some jack stands, and you know, my will to accomplish it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get this thing completely torn down to just the frame. First thing I gotta do is find a place to store all this stuff, and I think I'm gonna make a shelf up there, but I'm not gonna put you guys through that, so I'm just gonna get it organized, get everything out of the truck that needs to come out of the truck. So it'll be a lot easier to get everything off the truck. And I gotta soak down all the bolts. I bought some of the good old Super Clean, some PB Blaster, and some more cans of Matt gas. So if we have to heat those bolts up on the bed or the cab, we have the ability to do it. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, so we got everything out of the bed of the truck now. And there's never anything in here. I'll probably pull the tank. I mean, I probably don't have to. I'll probably just pull that line and disconnect it down below because that fuel line is connected underneath the truck. But the only other thing is wiring, but that can stay in the truck because it's all interior. And the stuff that's right here, I can just disconnect it from here, disconnect it from the firewall there, and put it down the frame, and it'll be fine. I'll probably pull the whole thing out anyways, just to make it easier. But all that stuff that was back there is now on its own shelves up here. So on this shelf, I got all the new parts for whenever I do build the motor. Got stuff up there that may or may not be used. Got stuff right here that is gonna be used. So just a few different things, different levels of the shelf here. Tell you what, this ladder thing that my wife found at the estate sale is the best investment we've ever had. That thing is a $1,200 ladder apparently. We got it for 70 or about 80 bucks. And then we had to drive 3 hours to get it. But it was well worth it because that made a job that would take me a couple hours with that ladder over there. Because it's very unstable considering, you know, it's not like this. And it would take me 2 or 3 hours to get all that stuff up there. Plus I moved some of the LS stuff up there. So I got the heads up there, which I never even tried to do with the ladder. So that thing right there, those stairs are a godsend. And thankfully my wife found those. So now we can get into actually pulling the bolts off the bed and the cab and figure out how we're gonna get this thing off the frame. So that's what we're gonna do next. Okay, so some of the bolts we gotta get out of here, first the spider web, is that one right there. on the cab bolts, get that soaked down. Then one back here. That one's gonna be fun. I gotta try to figure out where that's at. I mean, is there a hole up front, up top maybe? Because that's a bolt, I think. And then there's back here on the bed, another one right there. And all the way back here. There's none in the middle, thankfully. But there is one. I think the next one is up on the inside. So that one, and those two up front. So 8 bolts total to hold the bed on. So once I get back to, once I get those soaked down, I'll come back and we'll try to get them out of there. I'll have to add some heat to it. I don't know. I can't remember how the back bolts on the cab went on, but if you look right there at my camera here, there's a captive nut underneath there, so I want to spray that down too. And I don't know if I can get to the other side or not with the tank being tucked into the edge there, the corner there. But you can see it right there coming up through, so I'm going to spray that down. I probably will remove the tank just to make it easier and lighter. So let's go ahead and get that out too. So I was actually able to spray some PB Blaster up on that one. And I was able to get to that one over there. You can see there's a little detent that you can spray up into. So I was able to get some PB Blaster up in there too. So it should be fine, at least the best it can be. If I have to heat it up from there, then I'll pull the tank for sure. But for now, we're not going to pull the tank. We're just going to see if we can unbolt it. I forgot to mention there is a head of a bolt up here for the front mount, but you see how rusted that is, so hopefully that comes out. That side's actually pretty clean. It's kind of what it's supposed to look like. And that side's completely rusted, but we'll see if we can get it out. If not, that's what torches are for, and sawzalls and stuff like that. 22 it is. Okay, dude, you gotta get out of the way. You're blocking the shot. You're blocking the shot. Get out of here. Too busy dealing with the duct that I didn't realize I didn't actually have a shot here. But it's just removing it's a 7/8 headed bolt. So that's all it took. Just a quick shot of the gun and it was out. Super easy. Probably because it's, you know, rust welded to the cab. Get you back here so you can see this one. Hopefully not be blocked by the duct. So is it 5/8? Yes. Yes it is. Yes, it'll come out. Wow. That washer was completely broken up. Look at that. Pretty crazy. Now I just broke the captive nut off. Ah, crap. All right. Well, looks like we're definitely taking the tank out. All right, I got the other two sides, and then we'll come back and try to get these bolts up here. It's gonna be fun to deal with because they're up inside a little slot and up above the spring mount. The passenger side one came out. It's still smoking. Pretty cool. But anyways, give you the front. So we got 3 out of the 4 to come out. You can see how rusty that is, the shank. So it definitely needs to be replaced either way. And I'm sure we know the one bolt on the driver's side has no head to it. And this one right here, looks like it's been spot welded on there. I don't know if maybe they are. That makes it easier, but makes it a pain in the butt to replace. And the other one, we got to get the captive nut from underneath the tank, so we got to pull the tank out. So this is the captive nut I was telling you about. See how it's up here? Looks like I missed it with the PB Blaster, but this is supposed to be holding it in place. Well, it's only tack welded on there in 3 little spots, and that popped right off. So we just got to get that held in place or lubricated and heated up or something. But you can see the tank out, and it's kind of full. Can't imagine how good the gas would be, but it definitely had some in it. Have to drain that again, but I do want to do the rear tank conversion in this eventually, so hopefully I won't have to worry about that, but you never know. I probably gotta pull that out too. Looks like it got bent. But yeah, so now we can get that last bolt out. That's what it's supposed to look like. So that didn't take much. Just a pair of vice grips and the anchor point, and it came right out. All right, so we're not gonna lift it off yet, but I just wanna make sure it's all loose. Just gotta put the block of wood down there and see if it'll come up. We'll start moving. Oh yeah, she's loose from the frame. Cool. Now that, problem I'm gonna run into is just gonna get it up high enough. If I need to get up high enough to put the wheels and any framework back here. So, because I'm gonna pull the bed off first. I'm not sure I'm gonna do it yet, but I might make some kind of contraption to use my engine hoist with. I don't know, we'll see. But I gotta get the bed off first, then hopefully we can roll the frame out from underneath it once we get the cab up high enough. But there's a lot we gotta take off first. So like the brakes are still attached, so I got brake lines. So either I'm gonna disconnect the brake lines, I probably will, just disconnect the brake lines. The steering shaft has to come back out, or at least disconnect it. I can just probably disconnect it from right there and be good. So yeah, shouldn't be too bad. That cab should just lift right off. The wiring is another problem, but I can probably pull that back. The only problem is I put a 4-pin connector in the back. I did a flat one, so I don't know if it'll fit through the hole in the frame or not. But we'll figure it out when it comes time. I sure hope I don't jinx nothing by saying this, but the first nut and the second nut came off with no problem. So hopefully the rest of them are that easy. But I know I just jinxed myself by saying that. So time to get to it. Well, I only jinxed myself a little bit. Every single one of the bolts or nuts came loose. See, there's all the hardware. Except for one. This one right here started spinning in the hole. So the castle, or what's it called? Not castle nut, but the the square-headed freaking bolts that go on these things. Yeah, it started spinning in the bed. So it's the first one that did it though. All the rest of them are loose. Could be pulled out. Except for that one. I might have to cut that one. Well, we're gonna see if this works. So I just use a vice grip and a pipe to hold it in place. We'll see if I can make it come loose now. I tried once and it popped right off, so I'm cutting the head of the bolt. All right, so 5 out of the 8 bolts came out pretty easily. And there's one over there sitting on the bed. These 2 back here are stuck. They're in the bed, but the bed is loose, so I got it to pop up. So now it's loose from the frame, but those bolts are stuck through there's like a bracket underneath there. It goes down through, and I think it's just filled with rust and grime, and so that's gonna be fun trying to get those out once we get the bed off. But other than that, they're all off, and the bed is no longer attached. This one right here might be an issue because I did get it out, but it's stuck down inside the bracket, between the bracket and the frame. So I don't know. It's loose, it's just not fully out. I think because it's got the square pieces on it, it didn't quite fit through the hole in the bottom. So we'll see once that comes time to worry about it. But other than that, she is free from the frame. All right, so it looks like I can definitely make this work. I just gotta remove the tire because it won't let me go in further than that. So I just gotta make a contraption, basically just a couple bars going across with the center section, like an H, and just be able to lift the bed off with. So shouldn't be too bad. Just gotta remove the tire off right in the middle. So we're good to go. Just gotta make a little apparatus to make it easy to pull this thing off. And then I'm just gonna roll it forward, pull it off, lift it up, roll it forward. And then I'm gonna set this up on this end because that's fine to do, I guess. And set it back in the corner someplace out of the way, which really isn't any place out of the way, but you know what I mean. I'm just gonna get her off. I kind of realized I made a stupid statement. Once I lift this up, I can't exactly roll it forward, can I? So I'm just gonna lift it up from that side and pull it off and go out that way. So, or no, I can't go this way. I got plenty of room over there. I just gotta move some stuff to do it, but I'm gonna build the apparatus first. Even though it's super cold right now, I kinda wanna test my apparatus that I made. So, unfortunately, I don't have air because my air compressor took a crap this week. So I got that one, but I'm not gonna try using that to do this. So I'm just gonna pump it by hand. Let me get up into position. Actually, I want to see how it does balance-wise. Look at that. It's pretty good. It's going up a little bit. Seems to be pretty well balanced, sort of, kind of. Anyways, once I get to the top, I'll turn you back on. Almost to the top. Just making sure it's kind of level, even. And I think it's going to work pretty good. Okay, we're on the bed now. See how well 1-inch tubing will hold up. I've gusset it. It ain't freaking lifting nothing, is it? I think I definitely need a little stronger. Oh, there it goes. It's definitely bowing a little bit, but it's also floating right now. So maybe 1-inch wasn't quite strong enough. Could have done with, but that's what I had. So, but it is off. It's up there floating right now. How high can I go before it breaks? I think the tailgate's a little heavier. But yeah, it's off and it's working. But the tailgate is definitely heavier because it's tipping down towards the back a little bit, but that'll work to get it off. So I think I'm going to call it a night. I actually have it lifted off right now, but I kind of want to see or make sure this is going to hold up. So I'm just going to leave it hanging overnight. If it hangs overnight and doesn't break, then we'll be good. I'll move all this stuff out of the way and just lift it right off, put it over here someplace. So yep, that's what we're going to do. Well, it made it through the night without breaking, so I think it'll be fine to remove the bed with. So we just got to clean up the mess here. Well, not the mess, but just reorganize so we can slide that off that way and be good to go. So it's a little loud in here with the heater going, so I'm just going to speed this up and we're going to get the bed off. That wasn't too bad. It came off pretty easily. Now I just got to figure out a way of standing up on end without damaging the ends. But I'll figure it out. Gotta get some dollies too from Harbor Freight so I can stick it up on, maybe I'll roll it around as well. But there we have it. There's the frame. Doesn't look too bad. There's no real serious rust on it. Mostly surface rust. So we should be good to go. Why is that angled? Is that freaking angled? Yeah, this beam right here isn't straight. Everything else seems to be. That one beam is riveted in crooked. Funny. I decided to hit it up a little, the cheek poker a little bit, and look how clean that is. So there's no serious rust on this at all. And so it's going to clean it up pretty nice. We'll get some paint on it. Yeah, it's going to look good. All right, let's see if we can get this thing turned up on end without damaging it. So have you ever had one of those moments where you think you're still young and nothing bothers you? Yeah, try this. Don't try this at home. Oh my God, that was a nightmare. But when the Brothers Trucks tanks you can get for these, for the rear location, you have to trim out some of this area right here. And they tell you to flip it up on its end like this so you can get to it easy. Yeah, well, I guess if you have a hoist or something in your garage, like a gantry system, probably wouldn't be that hard. But when you're working with just a engine picker or cherry picker and a couple ratchet straps, it's a little scary. But we got it done somehow without crushing myself or crushing the wife's car or the truck or the bed. So all in all, it's a win. Is it dumb if it works? It's still dumb, even if it works. But yeah. All right, so we got the bed on dollies now, so I can roll it around and move it where I need to go. So it rolls pretty smoothly, pretty easily. So not too bad. But that thing's heavy. I mean, it's an 8-foot bed and it's heavy. But we got her done. So now, time to get the cab off the frame. So let's get into that now. All right, to get the cab off, what we're gonna do, because it's already loose. Well, first we gotta disconnect the steering shaft, the brakes, and the wiring. And what we're gonna do is jack up a side at a time, get some jack stands underneath there. Then we're gonna let that down on the wheel dollies directly onto the drums, and then wheel it out from underneath the cab. So I think it should clear plenty. Clear plenty of room. It should have plenty of room to clear that way. And then we'll have the cab off of it and we can get the frame cleaned up. All right, so we got the cab lifted up basically as high as I can go with it. Definitely plenty of height. The only problem we run into is this axle's wide. So trying to get it rolled out past there is gonna be fun. I'm hoping with it on the dollies, we can kind of, wiggle it in and out of the jack stands maybe to get it out. But first we gotta move the Mustang and then we'll move the Firebird out too. So that way we can get everything out of the way. I want to find some way of actually rolling the cab around too. And I'm thinking about using those dollies as a way of doing that by building stands for it. So I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what we come up with. Well, there you have it. The cab is separated from the chassis. Oh boy. It was fun having to go back and forth with the jack stands, but we got to work. There's a stupid wasp. Get a little bit of warm weather and those suckers come around again. I was able to get that wasp that was flying around here, and the shop duck got a nice meal out of it. So, got it all out. And I got to pull the wiring out still because I want to clean inside the frame and everything. So we're going to do deep cleaning on this thing and get it all set. Is that a mud dauber's nest back there? Jeez. And the bumper back there is just completely full of dirt, which is pretty funny. But yeah, we'll get this thing cleaned up and make it look like it did from the factory, or even better than it did from the factory. What's that washer from, I wonder? Don't know. Starter probably. I think I did lose that. But anyways, we are good to go to move this out and pressure wash it, but I'm not sure we're going to start that today. It is a nice day, but I'm not sure I'm quite ready for that yet. But we got her out, and that's a long chassis. Wonder how long it is. I'll have to measure it. See how long this chassis is. I'm only going to measure to the frame. I'm not going to include the bumper on this. It is almost 200 inches. Look at that. Just shy of 200. It's crazy. So 16 feet, 8 inches. Kind of curious how long my truck is. I think it's about the same, actually. But who knows? Pretty cool. So my wife came out and we measured the truck. And from bumper to bumper on this one, it was 239 inches, or 232 inches, 230 inches. So this truck is actually 30 inches longer than that one. Well, not frame to frame, but So 230 inches, and the front bumper don't really add a whole lot, maybe a couple inches, and the rear bumper adds 11 inches on this one. So that'd be 200, we'll say 215 about. So the Silverado's still about 20 inches longer, maybe 15 to 20 inches longer than what this one is. You know, this thing looks huge. I was saying I did a 4-pin flat connector back here and it wouldn't fit through that hole. Well, I made it fit. I just cut some grooves in it. Now it fits through there, and the grommet will still seal it. Well, it doesn't have to seal it, it just needs to protect it. So we'll be good. I can remove the entire wire harness. We hit a really good stopping point for this video. And I think the next week's video will be taking the chassis and cleaning it up. So if you like this video, leave a like down there, leave me a comment, let me know what I can do, better, and subscribe while you're at it. And again, I appreciate everybody watching, especially if you made it this far. So until next time, I'll see y'all later.